It's the dawn of a new Middle East. President Trump in Qatar for day 2 of his Mideast diplomatic blitz, putting commerce over conflict as he cuts more economic deals and courts peace. Donald the Dove lifting sanctions on Syria and meeting with their new president, urging him to sign on to the Abraham Accords with Israel. He also signaled some wiggle room for a new Iran deal. 47 also securing a historic $1.2 trillion economic commitment in Qatar and complimented them on the decor.
As a construction person, I'm seeing perfect marble. This is what they call perfecto. We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time. They're both tall, handsome guys that happen to be very smart. I want to make a deal with Iran. I want to do something if it's possible. But for that to happen, it must stop sponsoring terror. We are currently exploring normalizing relations with Syria's new government, as you know. I am also ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria to give them a fresh start.
And as Trump racks up trillions in deals from the Gulf states, all the Dems and media want to do is hound the prez over a luxury jumbo jet offer from Qatar.
My attitude is, why wouldn't I accept the gift?
He does not believe in rules and laws and norms. He thinks they're for suckers.
This flying grift or Con Air Force One.
This is all about is getting a $400 million aircraft for Donald Trump when he leaves the presidency.
This administration is corrupt full and through.
It's kind of funny. It's a funny story, Kennedy, although it does give them something to talk about because everything in this trip is a win. It's just deliverables.
Yeah.
Everything one after the other is a win-win-win. Here, you play with the little story about the plane.
Yes, but if you read the left-leaning media, they're like, well, he hasn't really done any deals with Syria and Iran, and he called the new Syrian president a terrorist, a jihadist not long ago. But the plane, I don't think the plane is that great of an idea to accept, because I think that if we are forcing Democrats and the Biden family, which was famous for decades of grift, and if we're holding them to account, then I think it's a political mistake to be doing something that could be construed as the same thing.
Yeah, you got to act better than your predecessor.
Yes,
even
and you
if,
have
even
to be
if
able
you're in the
to
right.
employ the political golden rule, which is if it's wrong for them, it's wrong for us. And why distract from the phenomenal wins that have happened over the last 10 days?
You know, it's interesting, Dana. I was asked this question in the break, the other one, not that other one. He notices the camels and the marble. If they were to come here, what do you think they would notice?
I would love. Please come with me and walk the streets.
Why do you have so many people on the street?
Wouldn't it be fun if President Trump came and we were like, sir, can we walk? Will you walk with me to my dance lesson today? Because you've got to see this and do something about it. Like, I'm dying for him to go on the subway and then it'll get fixed, and that would be an amazing thing. I wrote down distraction. I'm crossing it off. No need to talk about that because she said it. I think this is remarkable what he's done with Syria. So, yes, jihadists. Yes, prisoner at Abu Ghraib. Yes, somebody who got rid of Assad. Everybody forgets that Assad is cooling his heels in Moscow, hasn't been thrown out of a window yet. So I guess that's a plus for him. But in Syria, it's remarkable that President Trump would say, okay, I'll give you, here's a deal. If you meet these benchmarks, you got to get rid of terrorism, you got to do several other things, and they're tough requirements, then no more sanctions on you. So this is a chance for Syria, for the first time since 1979, to join the rest of the world. And you can see, putting these pieces together, what I do like about economic diplomacy is that it is our superpower. We can use it very well, and they want to invest in America. We can invest in them. I think economic ties are very, very good. I also believe in medical ties and the health ties.
Bow ties?
And the freedom. No, bow ties I'm not really for. I mean, on some people they're fine, whatever. Bolo ties, though, I really like. The last thing I would say is, he said that there is wiggle room on Iran. But he says a lot of things about making a deal with Iran, but he does always say, but they should not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. But that gets sort of pushed to the side because people want to play and suggest that he is going to be willing to allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't think that's fair to him, but I think that the White House comms people need to understand, and maybe they do, that he has to say that over and over again because the media or the left or whoever it is wants to try to pull him back from that red line.
Harold, it seems that this is kind of the way Trump always viewed this foreign policy, all commerce, no combat.
So I differ slightly, and it's hard for me to differ with my pal Dana on a substantive
Ooh,
issue as
in
big
your
as this.
face,
But
Dana.
I do on the Syria thing for this reason. I don't know where the national strategic security interests are and what we're doing. I take you at everything you said on face value.
If they join the Abraham Accords?
I'm talking about Syria.
Yeah, I mean, like if
right.
Syria joins the Abraham Accords.
Right, but they haven't, and and he has the Saudis also. The reason I say this is because the president says a lot of things the beginning of a week, and then a couple of weeks later he says something different. We had a lot of tariffs on a lot of countries, and he suspended all of them for 90 days and kept the ones on China. And then things got wishy-washy with the market. He took the things off China and said we now have another 90 days for that. You take a plane from a group of people that we've said around this table. I've heard all of us say, the Qataris, they harbored Hamas. I didn't hear him at all say, I'll accept this plane if you guys renounce this and tell me you'll never do this again. It all seems a little about him. Now, he could be exactly right. I'm not suggesting the president's not right about this, but I don't understand how you go to a country and say to people in front of you, the 2020 election was rigged. I don't believe it was, but even if it was, the people you're saying in front of, Mr. President, they don't even have elections. The thing that troubles me the most is I think about it in an overarching way. I don't mind us resetting and talking about a recharge and a redo of our role in the world. But we are a force for good, for democracy, for rule of law, for decency, for righting wrongs. And if we're going to change that, I think we deserve to hear more than just the president being in a U.S.-Saudi conference praising these men for the great work that they're doing and for the business deals they're doing. I love commerce as much as anyone. But commerce, to me, is not at all greater than whom we are as a nation and what we mean for the 250 years we've been on this earth, because we've been a force for so much good. And I hope and pray we continue to be. And I just want to hear the president articulate
well, you don't
how
act that
this
way
does
with China. You're all high and mighty with the Mideast, but you don't act that way with China.
I'm the one that acts that way with China. That's why I want to abolish TikTok.
You love China, you hate tariffs, and you want to do business
You're not
with these people.
You're not going to put me in with the communist China. You're absolutely wrong.
Just did. Rewind it. Just put you in with them. And Dana is so right. What he's trying to do is create a peace and prosperity framework in this region so we can pivot away from it, go back to the Western Hemisphere, and realign ourselves into the Near East. Listen, if you peel Syria away from Russia and you lift sanctions, and then you cut a nuke deal with the Iranians and lift the embargo and get the oil back online and tell the Saudis to pump more oil. It drives the price of oil down. It starves the war machine in Russia and forces Putin to negotiate with Zelensky. Then you sell chips and arms to the Saudis, and you get these guys to do business with Israel. You step back up with the Abraham Accords so everybody can trade with each other and trade with us, and then we all get rich. The only thing hanging up this thing is the Hamas situation. If
that one little thing,
Netanyahu can settle this thing, then the Saudis will come on board and we can all be fine. And on the plane, Harold, he's going to take the plane. And then you guys are going to do nothing about it. And the press is going to ride on it. And then if you win in the midterms, you're going to impeach him. So what? Okay, and then Kamala's going to win, and she's not going to go on the new jet. She's going to go on the one from 1990 because Boeing can't get it together.
That jet will never be flown. Would you fly a jet from Qatar? You got to take the whole thing apart. You're going to have to take every single piece apart and look at it.
We can't even build a plane. You think we can take it apart?
It is a Boeing plane, right?
It's a Boeing plane.
You know what Greg is really saying to you? In your face.
It's worse than IKEA furniture.
If Trump invites you to fly on the plane, you're going, Greg.
I'm not going on a Qatar jet.
Yeah, you are. Hey, Greg, come to Mar-a-Lago. You're going. In your face,
Shut up,
Greg.
Jesse. All right. Up next, Dems thought they could Febreze him away, but the stench of Biden lingers.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.